This is the 2014 Porsche Boxster S in Guards Red with a red roof and platinum grey interior. It's probably the best looking Boxster there's been. It looks more its own car now. It doesn't have that 911 look-alike quite so much quality that previous ones did. And also the rear end and the front look very different, whereas on the first generation Boxster certainly the front and the rear looked very similar. The engine is right in the middle under the hood. There's actually a fairly substantial boot in the back and in the front. We'll have a look at those in a minute. This has got the PDK dual clutch gearbox. It's a 7-speed. The car costs £48,000. The engine is a 3.4 litre flat 6 Boxster 6. It does 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Top speed is 172 miles an hour. It's got 315 brake horsepower and 265 pounds-foot of torque. It's also quite light. It weighs 1,350 kilos, which is not bad. That's kind of Lotus Evora territory. You could say it's good value for money. It's a fantastic car to drive. I'm going to take it on the road in a minute, so let's have a look around the car itself. Personally, I wouldn't choose this colour interior, platinum grey. I'd go for something slightly different, but from the outside it does look good with the red. It's very cozy cabin. It's a really nice place to be in here. You've got 2 door pockets in each door. This kind of silly thing here, and then a tiny space under there. Glove box, and that's it for storage. Dials look great. You've got the rev counter right in the middle. I'll turn the engine on in a minute. Steering wheel is devoid of buttons and switches and things, although down here you can just about see under the windscreen wiper lever is a lever that activates the screen. The right hand of these 3 dials here is can be changed to all sorts of different things. That's my phone, map, it's part of the sat-nav system. The sat-nav, by the way, is superb. It's one of the best manufacturer made sat-navs on the market. It uses traffic management. It'll take you around accidents and that kind of thing. This car does 35 miles per gallon, but if you're using it properly, you'll get nowhere near that. Right, let's turn it on. Have a listen. Foot on the brake. Like I say, this is the PDK, so it's an automatic, but it's actually a dual clutch manual. These buttons are quite important. This one is for the exhaust. Obviously, this is your hood up. Whilst I'm talking, I'll raise this. It doesn't take long. You can do it at up to 30 miles an hour on the go. It's quite an elegant system. And there we go, all done. It's fairly quick. And let's put that back down because it's much more fun with the roof down, as soon as it's not raining. The other buttons you have got, essentially, these are not for suspension. This car's got very well tuned, but it's standard suspension. Sport, it's mainly for gearbox, for steering, feedback. Sport Plus, and you can turn the traction control off, which I wouldn't do. The car has epic amounts of grip, but I wouldn't turn the traction control off. This puts the spoiler at the back, tiny spoiler at the back, up or down. That I've forgotten. When you're driving in normal mode without Sport or Sport Plus, it's quite a lazy engine. Not lazy engine, but lazy gearbox. It's not so keen to change up unless you press the throttle right to the floor. Sport tunes it up a little bit, and it's probably the best mode for day-to-day handling. Actually, when you press the buttons, it's the only thing on the steering wheel. It changes, and it's not showing up very well on my camera. Sport Plus turns the car into an absolute mad manic beast of a thing. It holds onto the revs. You can drive through a village at 30 miles an hour in first gear. Off throttle, it crackles and it spits just as good as anything else. It makes a fantastic noise. The flat six, I mean, modern cars' exhaust notes are tuned to sound good, but this really does sound good. Anyway, that's the interior of the car. This is the info screen. It's actually a very good system. It's the same as in most Porsches. You've got media, you've got digital radio, auxiliary via cable in here. Your USB goes in there, so you can connect your phone up and charge your phone, or you can Bluetooth your phone and your music and your iPod and that kind of thing. I've already been through the sat nav. It's one of the best on the market. Like I say, digital radio, analog radio. It's got a CD slot here. You've got all sorts of different options that you can select in terms of information about what you're up to. You can set up different aspects of the car, how long the lights stay on, what you want to see on that right hand screen there. And it is a lovely car just to spend time in. So I'll shut up, and part 2 of this will be on the road, go for a drive. Right, we're going to start off in Sport Plus, which, as you will see and hear, the traction control is still on the car. Gear changes come very late. I'm going to go back to Sport, which is a bit more sensible and a bit less noisy. Gear changes come very late. The car's very quick, and it uses the maximum of the engine's torque and horsepower, which both come in the mid and upper reaches of the rev range. It's a fantastic car on the road. It handles pretty much like nothing else. The balance is so perfect with the engine just behind me. It's not too noisy, it's fairly well damped, even though there's only a small bulkhead behind me. Let's hit a more bumpy country road. What I'm going to demonstrate is that the Boxster's suspension, despite the fact this car has standard suspension, it keeps the ride smooth, more so than an F-Type, on all sorts of road surfaces. So we're on a country lane now with terrible road surface, and it's pretty composed. It's a pretty composed ride. I'm going to hit some corners in a minute, and it'll go around these corners with, and that was a Ferrari FF just gone the other way, with hardly any hint of slip or loss of grip. It almost doesn't need traction control. You very rarely feel the car losing grip at the front or the rear end in normal road conditions. Even in the rain, it's got huge amounts of grip. An F-Type will waggle its tail about because the engine's over the front. This hangs onto grip and hangs onto the grip of the road just like you wouldn't believe. I'm stuck behind a learner driver. It's just about wide enough on this road. As you can see, the engine's got enough power to overtake without needing to go to Sport Plus, without needing to rev right the way to the top of the rev range. It's superb fun. You can cruise in this car for hours. It does lack cruise control. It could do with cruise control, to be honest, because it's comfortable enough and spacious enough and has enough practicality. It's got the boot at the front and the boot at the back to be a good Grand Tourer, a good cruiser. It'll return over 30 miles per gallon if you treat it well, and it'll return in the teens if you drive in a more spirited fashion. So it would be a good Grand Tourer, but it lacks cruise control, which is slightly odd. It really does need it. But that's pretty much the only faults I can find with the car, aside from perhaps the platinum grey interior. I thoroughly recommend the Porsche Boxster. It is absolutely superb, despite the fact that it costs £48,000. I'd also say it's quite good value for money compared to what else is out there. Yeah, it's a marvellous car.